Hello students, as we already completed the chapters, so we are going to go with an overview for chapter 2, that is indicators of growth and development. So let's start with an overview highlighting like introduction. It says about the two words economic growth and development, which were popular after World War II. That was in 1939 to 1944. They were facing so many problems like unemployment, poverty, hunger, debts, inequality of income and distributions. So for all the developing countries and development, these were the problems, and they were aiming for developing countries, they were aiming to have improved standard of living, whereas for developed countries it was more challenging to make control or to maintain their higher standard of living. So for that particular Professor Mrs. Ursula Hicks has given the solution for developing countries, that is economic development, and for the developed countries it is economic growth. Now, economic growth talks about, it refers to the growth rate of a national income or a rise in total quantum of goods and services. Means it says about the total production, or there is a continuous increase in the national income and the real per capita income. Then you find that the more the production, the more will be the, we can say, sale, and there you find that more income is been earned. So there you find that growth is been shown to us, whereas it is a quantitative change. It is only talking about how much quantity you try to produce, that much quantity of growth you will attain. So here that was given by Professor Hansen, but if we see by Simon Kuznets, it talks about like there is a more supply of production with a diverse economic good. Diverse economic goods means what? There is a different types of goods which are make we need to available them people, so that if people gets different varieties of good, they will try to purchase more and more, and you find the demand for different products will get it. So all this is about economic growth. Now there are certain limitation. It talks, it is only quantitative, it is no only quantitative, there is no qualitative changes you find. Then you find that it is only there is only rise in income and per capita income, whereas institution and psychological factors, that is human factors and institution factors in India remains, or any other countries remains same. Then after you find that it is only it is a narrow concept because it is only thinking about the output, that is the production only. And lastly it does not talks about the welfare of the people. So this were the four limitations for the concept of economic growth. Then comes economic development. Economic development is, it is a process of continuous achievement of well-being. What is well-being? We can say in the wide meaning it includes economic growth, economic welfare, and economic progress. So all these three together it becomes economic development. So it should not only focus on the output but also focus on the welfare of the people, but also focus to the overall upgradation of the people in the economy. So it is called as qualitative and quantitative both changes which has been happening. So how it can be done? It can be done by reducing the poverty, reducing the unemployment, and reduction of inequalities of income and distribution. If these three things falls, if these three things reduction is been there, or it is been totally eradicated from the economy, we can see it is economic development. So here example has been taken, contribution of agriculture to the national income if decreases, you find that service sector and industrial sector also falls. So this is how it has been there. Then the definition which is being given by two persons, that is GM Mayer, it talks about it is a process which there is no increase in the population living below the poverty line. So below poverty line peoples are not those who are living in below poverty, there the population is not increasing, and the distribution of income does not further increase. So again you find that in distribution of income inequalities was been there, that should also not increase, but there is a continuous rise in the per capita income with and the of the country with a long period of time. So over the long period of time, if the per capita income is increasing without a change in population to the people who are living in poverty line, or we can say there is no income inequalities. So all this situation gives rise to the, we can say, economic development by GMA. Again in the second one, that is matchup, says about the economic development is a process which increase the factor of production and creates a change in technique of production, due to which per capita income continuously increase and standard of living continuously rises, irrespective to the whether the population remains constant or increase. So here it's talking about whether the population remain constant or increase or decreases does not matter, but it should be depend upon the how you try to increase the production, how you try to create new products by new techniques, new production ways, so that it becomes easier and faster, as this will help us to increase the per capita income, and it should increase continuously. and when it is increasing continuously, you find that our standard of living also increases continuously, and no matter there is a how much population increase or decrease or constant it is been there. So this is what Matchup says about the economic development. Then there are certain characteristics. Now it is a continuous process. Because why it is continuous process? Because there should be a continuous, over a long period of time, there should be a continuous rise in the per capita income and the national income. So it is usually easy to start, but it is usually, we can say, difficult to maintain, as well as it is a slow process. Second is a quantitative and qualitative changes. Yes. Why? Because it does not only talk about the production, but it also talks about the human welfare. So you find that how the it should improve their product, it should go with economically, environment, safety, all these things, it should be maintained, so that you find that it gives better quality of products as well as good quantity of products also. Then after change in demand, you find that over the period of time there has been change, and you find that we have seen many changes coming up, and we will see further also. So there should be a change, as it in the definition only, there should be a change in technique of production. So there is change in demand. So if there is income rises, you find that more people will demand different types of different luxurious goods. So there's a change in the goods, you find that. Then after, you find that labor become more dynamic. Yes, labor should be more skillful, and it should, how, they should have more of education. So if their education increases, they have wide capacity of mind, so dynamic changes can also be done. Then after, increase in capital formation. Yes, as there is a new change, there is a change in technology, you find a new business will come up. When new business comes up, new investment is being done, and there increases the capital formation. So when a company starts, it requires money, and that money is called as capital. So whenever there is a change in technology and new firms can enter, and at that time you can say new capital formations are being done, so it increases the capital formation. Then after, change in technology. Now why change in technology? You find that before you used to use water and fire based technology, where now we are using coal and iron based technology, as it helps us to do the production more faster and faster. So this is how you find that technology has been changing up. Then after, you find that limitations against are the, yes, what are the limitation? Only indicates the progress of the nation, but the real scenarios cannot be seen. You find that there is no discussion of human development. So here the index of human progress is not given up. Second, it is very difficult to measure at, you find that, because you find that there is a society, it includes societies, and the different, and the society cannot be judged equally, because every persons are different and everything has been different. So with the concept of qualitative or quantitative, you find that it becomes very difficult to measure. Then comes the standard of living of people improves. So you find that the standard of living has been improved, so we can say it is economic development. But you find that in India there is not much improvement on standard of living. Therefore we cannot say the development has been taking place and it gives there is an improvement in the standard of living, though our GDP is going high, it was going high in previous years. But you don't find that here the standard of living was also increasing. So that was the thing which you find difficulty in economic development. Then comes the difference between growth and development. So quickly just go with growth deals with occurrence, whereas development goes with a process. It shows a quantitative change, it is only focusing on output, where it shows qualitative and quantitative change, means it also increases the quality of the good, so the people will like and consume more and more, also increases the quantity also. Then it emphasizes on distribution of available resources, so it focuses on how much resources are available, that much should be increased, and that much should be uh, turned into production. Whereas here it emphasizes on unutilized resources, so those resources which are available and it is unutilized, still not utilized, they also force, because alternative usage should be done. Then you find it is growth is going with the developed countries, whereas development is going with the developing countries. Then you find that it is easy to measure, whereas it is difficult to measure. Then you find that this concept is narrow, whereas development concept is broad, because it talks about the overall progress of the economy. Whereas why it is narrow? Because it only focuses on one thing, that is quantitative, that is only production of goods and services. Then you find that the growth is only related to the per capita income, whereas economic development is related to the distribution along with per capita income. So it goes with the distribution of income, as well as it goes with the per capita income also. economic growth is a rapid process, and economic development is a slow process. Yes, so growth is for 1 or 2 or 3 years. You find the growth is been there. So every year there is a continuous increase, there is also growth. But for economic development, it is very hard, or it is very a long process, for because there should be a continuous rise, and then only we can attain a good standard of living. So economic growth is possible without economic development, but economic development is not possible without economic growth. Yes, because in economic development you find there is a continuous growth, continuous rise. So that rise is nothing but we can say growth. So every now and then, if there is a continuous growth, so it total together it becomes economic development. But if economy is already developed, they require only growth. They only require 1 or 2% growth every year, which will help them. So this is what economic growth and development is all about. Then comes the indicators. So there were the four indicators. We can say growth rate of national income, growth rate of per capita income, physical quality of life index, that is PQLI, and HDI, that is human development index. So just quickly go with this. You find that here national income. So we have already studied in 11th standard national income, that is the total production of goods and services within the country, that is national income. So here how it can say, we can say there is a growth rate of national income if there is a continuous rise in the income, that is the total production in goods and service. You find that is called economic development. So if the rate is high, you find that development is said to be high. If the rate is lower, the development is said to be low. If the rate does not changes, does not rise, you find it is at a constant or stagnancy. If it decreases, what will happen? It is called underdevelopment or negative development. So here real income, that is we calculate national income, the real income is been considered on the constant price, not at the current price. So here this is how the growth is been calculated. If it is rise, yes, it is higher. It is low, we can say it is lower. So this is how it has been calculated. Now there is a table which helps us to show the different countries and different growth rate of them. So Norway, America, Sri Lanka, China, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. So these are the four countries where their rate is lesser than India and China, and India is the most emerging country in the world, developing country in the world. So you find that this three, that is not this three but Norway and America, it is a totally developed country. So their growth rate is very less because it is developed, and they require only little growth every year to maintain their standard of living. So this is how is happening. Then the limitation comes, that is here when you grow with growth rate of national income, there is so many things which are being making in difficulty of calculation of national income, that is double counting, self consumption, production, which has been also included, sometimes difficult in calculating depreciations, tax avoiding, tax evasion, barter transactions, illiteracy, all these things becomes a problem to calculate. Why? How very difficult to calculate the true national income. Then after population, if yes, because every 10 year you find that population is being calculated. So here if the population is been income, sorry, population of national income is lesser, you find that the population growth is lesser than the national income, you find it is good. But if the population growth is more than the national income, it is shows a negative impact on the economy. Then there are different methods of calculating national income. Yes, different countries follows different methods of calculating, because there are like production method, income method, expenditure method. These are the three methods which we have studied in the 11th standard in chapter. So you find that different countries go with different methods, and it is difficult to compare with the different countries different method national income. Then comes the growth rate per capita income. So it becomes we can say national income becomes very difficult to calculate. So the second indicator is about per capita income. So what is per capita income? The total gross national income divided by the total population of that particular country is called per capita income. So if there is a continuous increase in per capita income, what you find that it helps us to know about the how the per person income is coming up, and that per person income is been calculated every country, that is an average of the income which has been produced in a whole year. So you find that per capita income increase the leading physical betterment of the people. So it shows that this much money is been given, is been having with the people, so their lifestyle will be increasing, or their betterment is been there. So if a country per capita income rises faster, it can be development is fast. If it is grows slow rate, the development is slow. If it is constant, you find that it is at a state of stagnancy. But if suppose it falls, it shows a negative development. So this is how it has been done, and UNO has recommended this per capita income as an indicator of economic development that time. Then this is how the purchasing power, that is per capita income, PPP, purchasing power parity, the how much a person can purchase, one person single on an average person can have this much money and can purchase in a market. So this is been shown. So Norway has been there where it is having 64,992, which stands at the first rank, though because their standard of living is more high, it is a very developed country. So you find that, whereas you find that India, that is 5,497, and this is as per 2015 and 16 survey. So 5,500 nearly, approx we can say 5,500, so which is 11 to 12 times lesser than Norway. So this is how you find that our India is a very backward stage. It is a still developing country. So this is how you find that, though the growth rate is high, but you find that the purchasing power parity is very less compared to the different developed countries. Then comes the limitation. So it is only estimate. Why estimate? Because it is an average. It is all because you find that it does not show the correct data every year, because population is calculated every 10 years. So when every 10 years the population is calculated, so for the 10 years the population remains the same. Like we know that it is 121 crores 121 crores from 2011, but we find at present it is 130 crore, more than 130 crore in peoples are there in India. So this is how you find that the per capita income also does not gives a correct national, a correct data. Then there is again difficulty in national income. Yes, because it is being calculated on the national income, so the difficulties which are faced in national income, it is again faced here, and again it is been makes difficult to calculate per capita income. Then per capita income shows only the average, yes, because it is the total income divided by total population, but does not show the inequalities, because you find that poor people are there, high class people are there, middle class people are there. So all these people are not earning the same which has been shown in per capita income, or it shows that this much is being spent by people. No, it is not. So this is only estimate on an average, but it does not show the real situation in the economy of the economy. So it is inequitable, it is not equal to the all person. Then comes the difficult in comparison. Yes, why? Because many times you find that every countries are having their own currencies, and in their own currency it has been calculated. So they, when it tries to compare with another country, you need to compare with the standard country currency, that is we can say dollar. So US dollar, every country has to convert its national income per capita income into US dollar, and have to measure that particular country to country. So it becomes very difficult for them to convert it and all these things, because or their methods are different, and then after they have to convert. So it becomes a vast complications among the countries to we can say compare each other. So these were the limitations for economic development. Then comes physical quality of life index. So what is physical quality of life index? We are going to hear. So it is the consumption of food, fuel, non-durable goods, consumption of durable and semi-durable goods, services over by the person of the group of the people, we can say. So what all things which helps a person to live and for a better quality of life or comfort life, we can say, that is called as what? Physical quality of life. So these are the three types of persons which consumes different types of goods. So again, so what are the things which are included? Food, proportion, health and medical service, housing and clothing, education, entertainment, transportation, communication, income, services, energy, population of population having pure drinking water. Then after, average life expectancy, infant mortality rate, drainage facility, all these facilities are being given to a person, and he is living very well. The only we can say his physical life quality has been well. So let's start with the indicator here. This particular PQLI has been given by Morris Davis Morris, and it has been presented by him. And it says there is a three standards which help us to measure this physical quality of life. That is literacy level, that is extension of education. Then you find that life expectancy and infant mortality rate. So what is literacy? Literacy means you find that how many percentage of people are educated in our country, or we can say in our economy. Then life expectancy means how much on an average a person is going to live. when suppose he born in this particular country, so that shows a life expectancy and infant mortality rate. So over the 1000 babies which are being born and still not attain 1 year, so in that how many babies are died, so that shows the infant mortality rate. So these three together becomes the PQLI measurement. So here you find that why only these three are being taken up, because you find that it shows result not efforts. Dependable data for these factors can be, means you find that it is everywhere in the all the country, population is there, literacy has been there, infant mortality is there, so it can help us to measure in all the country. Again, it shows result. And third, this are product based, where this all three factors are product based, hence it fulfills this standard of performance of comparison. So with these three factors we can find how their standard of living is been there in the economy. So this all three together becomes a physical quality of life index. Now how it has been formulated, you find that these three together it has been given 100 each, it has been total has been done and it has been divided by 3, and then after that derived the number which has been there, it is between 0 to 100, and whichever country comes near to the 100, you find that it is having better performance than it is which has been closer to 0 or near to 0, it is having a bad performance. And you find that which help us to this also help us to compare the two states also, whereas this national income and per capita it is only with the countries, but if you want to go with region to region or state to state, you can easily compare here with PQLI also. Again, you find that higher the PQLI, the more is the economic development, the higher lower is the PQLI, the lesser is the economic development which we can observe, and it is always between 0 to 100. So what are the positive things which is there here? It includes the factors like literacy, expectancy, which shows the standard of human life. Second, you find that it is better than per capita income. Third, it has less drawbacks, and you find that less drawbacks compared to the national income and per capita income. Then after refined, it comparisons made very different. PQLI comparison can be made between different countries, different group of countries, or different states of the same country also. And also you can go with urban and rural areas matching with the how the physical quality of life is there. Again, you can go with the female and the male ratios, male literacy rate, their education, everything with them. So this all comparison can be done, which you don't find or you cannot do in real national income and per capita income. So these are the positive things. So go with the limitations. Now limitation talks about why there is only three is being done. There are other types of things, all other types of measures also is been there, which is not included when this is the average of things. Second point says it is the average of three aspects. It should does not show the like backwardness or we can say prominence of each indicator. Like some of them are like depending upon their situation may focus on good, they must be having good literacy rate but they are not having that much income, or we can say they must be people are very poor, so they does not have literacy rate but they are focusing more on income. So different situations have different things, and each indicators should not given we can say 100 each, and it should not taken on average. Then you find that it is its country's present PQLI is high. If you say if a country is having higher PQLI, you find that we cannot say the development is also high, because sometimes you find that PQLI is high but the country is still a developing country, it's not a developed country, we can say. So it is not right to give equal weightage. Then you find that the growth of income has high importance in PQR, ignoring its possibilities. So you find that if you want to measure, the main thing is income. If you having more income, then only you have this all that particular facility and you have great physical quality of life. But so that particular thing has been also ignored, and you find that PQL of rich country is always slow, because you find that they have a good standard of living and it has been they are spending more and more, so it has been slow, whereas developing country it is more. So this particular makes a difference where you cannot able to measure. Then comes the fourth one, that is Human Development Index, HDI. So it is been presented by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, in 1990, and it focus on more on non-economic aspects also. So again, the three factors are being taken up by here, that is life expectancy, that is the average life expectancy, then knowledge, that is literacy, and third comes the good standard of living. So there is only 1 point change from PQLI and HDI, so it makes a difference again. So you find that life expectancy at is like more how much number of years the person live in from the time of birth. Knowledge, it talks about the how much quantity of adult people are having literacy. But here you find that it also focuses on number of year of schooling, as well as it focuses on how much expected number of schooling should be done by that country. But same way here in life expectancy, if their life is less than 50 years, if the average life is less than 50 years, we can say it is having a deficiency in health. There are certain problems, medical facilities are not available, all these things we can consider. But if it's suppose better than 50, more than 50, it's having a better HDI. Then comes the standard of living. So what all things included in standard of living? That is pure drinking water, medical facility, material service, good sanitization. You find infant mortality rate should be less than after per capita calories should be more for the people per 1 day. So all these things are been there: protein, fat availability, infant mortality rate of below 5 years. So all these things help us to know or get there is having a good standard of living. Then comes how it can be measured or how it has been done. So you find that here the maximum value in HDI is 1. It is based on 3 standards, so it always range from 0 to 1. If the country is having closer to 1, it is considered more developed. If it is far or less than 1, or it is near to 0, it is considered less developed. So this is how the ranking has been given up. Then according to 2014 data, you find that Norway ranked with the first rank with 0.944, whereas India ranks with 130 rank with 0.609 points out of 188 countries. So this is how. So let's look with the table. You find the same countries are taken here. Their HDI has been calculated and kept, and you find that how at what ranking they are being here. Then comes the gross national income, average life expectancy, expected years of schooling, and average number of schooling hours to be there. So all these things are being measured and it has been shown, and on the basis of that you find that ranks are being given in HDI. Now it is according to 2015, you find that 188 countries were there, and it has been classified if the countries with the higher or maximum were ranked from 1 to 49, with the countries are having 0.890. Then after, we can say countries having high human development, which is from 50 to 105. So 8089275, the this many range you find 50 to 105 ranks are coming. Then 0.735 to 614, the countries comes from 106 to 143 rank, where India is also there with 130 rank from 0.690 points. Then you find that less than 614 points, 0.614 points, you find that it ranked from 144 to 188 the rank. So this is how you find that the HDI gives category for different types of countries, or ranks are been given. So Norway comes with the first rank, India comes with 130 rank among the 188 countries, and you find that it is coming in the moderate development country classification, and Niger is the last, or we can say is a country of continent of Africa with ranks with 0.348 points, comes in the last in as per the HDI of 2015. So what's are the important, why this particular HDI is important? Because it is HDI is complete and it does not take economic factor, because you find that human development is not based on economic factor, but it is based on non-economic factor. So it goes with social welfare, giving importance to education and health. Second, you find that it indicates the economic development is a tool, only a tool, but ultimate objective of human welfare. So this is not a tool, but it is the main objective. Every people should get different types of, like, all this good standard of living, their literacy rate and average life expectancy should also increase. Then here the progress is talking about when it is called true progress. True progress, it is economic progress plus social progress. So economic plus socially, both progress is been given to us person, you find that there is a two progress which has been shown in the country. Now it is a functional, means it is a function thing, it is a working thing which has been there, which has been helping. So it indicates the health and education, how it has been improved in the country. Then after, developing countries get an idea where they have been scope. So you find that here the developing countries have advantage of where they need to develop more, and it is a progressive in its approach. So it is a good progressive approach which is being got and it has been done. Then the limitation, here also again the three things only are given. So three social indicators where are different indicators are also there, which is there. So you find again these three indicators are given equal weightage, but in reality you find different situation, different indicators should be important, because many of them with the income also matters, because for getting good standard of living. So you find that different situation, different thing is been given more important. Again you find the third point says it is not absolute expression, it is a relative progress. Why relative? Because it is a comparison is been done from one to another. When it has been compared, it becomes a relative progress, it is not absolute progress. So these are the three limitation, and after that it talks about that apart from HDI there are few indicators which can also be done, that is GDI, Gender Development Index, TAI, that is Technological Achievement Index, HPI, that is Human Poverty Index, and HCI, that is Human Consumer Index. So this four also can be used for measuring the particular Human Development Index, or for it can also become an indicator for the economic growth and development. So this was all about the chapter. If you find any difficulty, still message or call me and clarify your doubts. Go with this as well as you go with the previous one where it has been explained in very detailed one. This is just an overview. Thank you.